Who should pay on a first date?
Oh, I'd rather pay for myself on first date.
Who usually pays on a date? You or your boyfriend?
Ooh. Well, if my boyfriend asks me to go out, then he's definitely the one who's gonna pay for it. But if I ask him out, then I'm the one paying for it.
How much does your boyfriend usually spend for one date?
For one date, it differs. We can go out on a date with 500 peso on a budget, or we're gonna go out to a date on a 2,000 peso budget.
How about last date? How much did he pay for a date?
Last date, it went up to 800 peso.
How much do you usually spend for one date?
Me, I pay about 1,500 to 2,000 peso.
How about last date? How much did you spend?
Last date, I spent 1,000.
So you guys went to fancy restaurant? Who should pay on a first date?
Oh, I really love that question. On a first date, I would love to answer that it should be the guy, so that you will notice if he had a provider mindset or not. But if the second date or the other date, you can both like give pay like 50-50, or maybe you will offer like I will willing to pay, because the last time you paid our meal, like for example.
How much does your boyfriend usually spend for one date?
For one date, my ex-boyfriend, he always makes sure that he have a for like 2,000 and more when we're having a date. For like example, having a mall date, a cafe date. Yeah.
How much do you usually spend for one date?
Me, I haven't been use my own money, because my ex-boyfriend give everything to me, like not everything, but if he noticed that I would love to buy that thing, he will buy that thing for me. So, and he told me that I will not need to pay for our meals or for what I want. So yeah.
How about transportation?
Transportation, if I have a coins, I will offer that when we're riding a motorcycle or what, for the gas.
But usually your ex-boyfriend pay?
Yeah.
Taxi or just a public
Public
transportation?
transportation up until he has his own motorcycle.
Who should pay on a first date?
I think 50-50 first date, because if I were a man and then I go for a first date with the woman, that's practically a stranger. So I'm not really willing to pay for a stranger's coffee. 50-50 is good for me.
You
Good
said
setup.
you met one guy through dating app.
Yeah,
At that time, who paid?
50-50. I've always have split the bills when I'm with others, especially with date.
Did you have boyfriend before?
No, I haven't yet, but I go on dates and I haven't met the one yet, so perhaps in the future. Really hope so.
Who should pay on a first date?
The guy.
Who usually pays on a date?
The guy. Yes, because they're the ones who, inviting me. So they're the ones paying.
How much does your boyfriend usually spend for one date?
Not that expensive. It's below $20, because I enjoy all kinds of food. I'm not a picky eater.
How much do you usually spend for one date?
Well, I don't have my own car yet, so um, I think the commute fee counts. So it's not real that big. So yeah, when I go to the certain place to meet them, yeah.
Who usually pays on a date? You or your boyfriend?
My boyfriend. He actually offers me that he will pay for our date each and every time. So he would definitely never gets me paid for something we eat or something we do.
How much does your boyfriend usually spend for one date?
About 3,000 to 5,000 pesos.
So it's a fancy date.
Yes, it really is. He takes me anywhere, like some extravagant food in a restaurant, in an arcade, or some ice skate in MOA.
Is he student or employee? That ex-boyfriend?
Actually, he is a graduate from Ateneo University.
So already he has a stable job.
Yes, he has a stable job.
Who should pay on a first date?
Oh, I do believe that a guy should pay on a first date because he's the one who's gonna pursue a girl, and he should show to a girl that he has a provider mindset. So a girl would be, oh, he can take care of me, something like that.
Who usually pays on a date?
A man.
Who usually pays on a date?
It actually depends who invites. But if the first date, I would say a man.
How much does your boyfriend usually spend for one date?
I think he spends about 500 on that.
How much do you usually spend for one date?
I actually don't spend at all, but yeah, sometimes I'm the one who will just say I can, give him like a kind of piece of payment, because I don't want people making things for me for a free,
So
because I feel guilty. Yeah, so I will just give him like a 100 peso if he will agree. But sometimes he don't want me to pay.
So usually if you go to the restaurant with your boyfriend pays.
Yeah.
Who should pay on a first date?
The man.
Who usually pays on a date?
The man. I prepare a lot. I make myself pretty. I make myself presentable. I spend a lot of money on myself. You should spend money on the date food.
How much does your boyfriend usually spend for one date?
For one date, I'm not sure. Maybe, for one date, maybe 5,000 is enough.
How much do you usually spend for one date?
Me? Maybe less than 1,000.
Who should pay on a first date?
The guy.
Who usually pays on a date?
The guy. Because the guy invited the girl.
How much does your ex-boyfriend usually spend for one date?
I think like 2K, 1K, 2K pesos.
How much do you usually spend for one date?
No, I don't spend anything.
So he pay everything.
Yeah.
Who should pay on a first date?
I think that is not issue to me because I can do a 50-50 or I can pay to on a first date.
Usually, who pay on the first date?
I think man.
Who usually pays on a date? You or your boyfriend?
I think him.
How about last date?
Him.
How much does your boyfriend usually spend for one date?
I think around 2K like that.
2,000 peso.
Yes.